because they relate to us right now,
Yes.
and we find ourselves in a relationship with them. When we come to ourselves who we really are and going back to the top of the mountain,
Yes.
then we can become frustrated because that person no longer fits us.
Exactly.
Because that's not where we're supposed to be in the first place. We're supposed to stay on top of that mountain.
Exactly.
We ended up in that dip, in that valley for a
Yes.
moment, got connected with somebody that's not compatible for where we're going in our destiny.
Right. And now we're frustrated because they don't change, but they are who they were when you met them.
That's right.
And so again, potential is never promised. We never marry potential. We always marry in purpose. We always connect to purpose. I always say the greatest way to tell if a person belongs in your purpose is if they agitate your present. And so if you come into my life and you agitate, if you're okay with where I am now, you don't belong to me. You don't belong in my life. But give me a pastor who will agitate and frustrate me for where I am. Give me somebody in my life, a friend who will tell me, you bigger than living in this, and it's a problem. You need to be moving to the house. That you tired of doing business on this level. It's time for you to rise to the next level. I need somebody to come and agitate my presence so I can fulfill my God-ordained future.
But people don't want that. A lot of times they don't want that. They feel they can't handle it. They feel that's not a friend, because a friend will love them the way they are, and a friend will make them feel good, and a friend to get on Facebook with them and lie with them and be right there with them. Yeah.
Right, but those aren't your friends. Jesus speaks to Peter. He says, "Get thee behind me, Satan." He said, "I'm offended." The word offense here literally means scandalon. It means that you are the cheese in the trap. It means the bait. No trap is powerful unless it has bait. Bait is connected to my sense of survival. And so a rat wants to eat cheese. He grabs the cheese, he pulls the pressure. All of a sudden he's trapped because he thought he needed something that was leading him into that trap. So God is saying that people who cater to your weak self, they're talking to you and lulling you in, but they don't know that you don't know that they're calling you to be trapped into a place in your past. There are two kinds of people in your life: push people and pull people. Push people are people who stand behind you and can push you from your past. They know you from your mistakes. They know you from the things you did in the past, but they can only push you so far. But I need pull people. People are standing in a position where I want to be, and they're pulling me out of the pit. They're pulling me out of my present into my future. And when you want destiny, you want accountability. When you really want destiny, you want discipline. I don't want to be catered to. I want to be mentored into my next level in God. And so even though it takes more character, it takes more know-how, give me some poor people. Not push.
It seems like that's a painful place to be in, when having somebody pulling on you, though.
Yes.
It's easier for somebody to just push you and nudge you along and make you feel better because they're not where you are, and you can feel better about that. But a pull person, what you're saying, is farther down the road.
Yes.
And if I'm intimidated, then I may not allow them to pull me properly. I may rebuke them and say, that's not the person for me.
But then you got to be hungry. When you're hungry for the future, Elijah walks by Elisha and throws his mantle on him. When he does it, he walks away from him. He doesn't stay. He doesn't pat him on the back. He doesn't make him happy. And Elisha runs after him and say, Master, he says, what have I to do with you? He rejects him. So he said, let me go back to my house and let me give them an offering. Let me kill the oxen that I was serving on. Let me kill them, because after I go with you, there is nothing back here left for me. So we have to find leaders who are challenging us to leave I want to kill my oxen. I want to kill what's been holding me in my present. And even though it's painful, it's worth my purpose. Pain is the price for purpose. Jesus Christ hung on the cross and knew what he had to do, but he went through the process of pain so he could have power. Not only power for himself, but power to raise us up.
Wow, what a powerful message. You have something to say.
Yes, sir.
Now, the people who are in this season were saying, I don't have anybody in my life now. I'm alone and I'm discouraged. I'm hurting. It's a time of celebration of love. In the month of February, we look at love relationships. And there's some people right now who may not feel very comfortable because they don't have that significant person in their life.
Yes. Well, I'm going to say this to the singles. First of all, you are loved. First of all. Secondly, I want to say that we say family is the first institution of God. Family is not the first institution of God. Singleness is. God made man in his own image. God made man to look like him, to commune with him, to fellowship with him. So Adam, as he was breathed into, his eyes open, the first thing he sees is his father. He has connection with him. He has a flow with him. He has fellowship with him. And through that, God begins to build something. Then he tells him, he said, listen, it's not good for man to be alone. Not in the context of him having a companion, in the context of his purpose. If he's going to be fruitful and multiply, he needs a partner to get that thing done. But if we don't master the first season of having our purpose ordained and our purpose aligned, we cannot enter the second phase of having a partner in our lives.
Wow. So you said purpose ought to preoccupy us versus a person.
Yes. Yeah. So what we want is, because we're hungry, Proverbs 27 verse 7, the full soul, even a honeycomb is loathsome to him, but to the hungry soul, even bitter things become sweet. We want people to enter our life and make us feel better about ourselves. They can never make you feel better about yourself. It is your job, and God's job is to build a self-esteem and a self-perception of who you are in him. A person, money, a car will never make you happy. They are only things to be enjoyed in the context of me enjoying who God has made me.
So if I'm unhappy, getting somebody in my life is not going to make me happy. That's what I'm hearing you say.
It creates two unhappy people. Because now my whole pressure on you is to make me happy based on all the pains happened, my mom and daddy left me,
that's right.
My boyfriend in sixth grade did something to me.
Correct.
So now my expectation for you is to come in and make all of my wrong right. And you don't even know you got this pressure on you. You're coming in my life and trying to hit my unhappiness. That's not fair to that person. But once I understand my own contentment, once I understand what God has ordained for me to do, and I'm full in myself, I can overflow into your life. And so now it's not about what I